Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. In this video, we're talking about the top 10 NFL running backs right now, the best of the best at the running back position reality-wise. So I'm not talking fantasy football. We're talking who are the best running backs in the game talent-wise, the guys that get it done on the field and actually help their team win in reality football. Talent-wise, durability, who are the best running backs physically in the NFL for 2022? First quarter, I'd say first half of 2022, this is going to change as some rookies come in, get integrated. Depending on where they fall on the depth chart, they could emerge as top running backs. And some of these guys could fall off when we're talking September to December of 2022. But again, this is pre-season list here. Who are the best running backs in the game? I'm going to cover it with you guys right here, right now. Before we get into the show is brought to you by pristineauction.com. Use code SWAGLINE. Create an account. It's free. You also get free $10 you can use towards any auction you want. That's pristineauction.com. Code is SWAGLINE, and you're entered automatically for amazing draws, including the signed Mac Jones helmet behind me. Amazing draws, jerseys, helmets, and other amazing giveaways. You're entered automatically. pristineauction.com. When you sign up, they asked how you heard about them. Say fantasy football counselor. There's a drop-down box, and just use code SWAGLINE. You're entered for all draws moving forward. And again, you get the $10 for your auctions, okay? pristineauction.com. Sign up, SWAGLINE. All right, let's dive into this. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys click subscribe, hit that thumbs up, helps the channel. Takes 2 seconds, guys. I know you're like, let's just get to the content. But yeah, I appreciate that. But please hit that thumbs up. It means a lot, okay, guys? All right, let's dive into this. Let's do a countdown from 10 all the way to 1. Who are the best running backs in the game? Now, I got to tell you, this list was very hard to compile because there's so many good players that I had to omit. I left out guys like Joe Mixon. I just think there's other more talented running backs than Joe Mixon, even though he had a good year the past year. I left out guys like DeAndre Swift, although he could emerge this upcoming year. I left out Saquon Barkley because he sucks. He hasn't finished a year. So these guys are all talented. Don't get me wrong. Michael Carter could emerge on the Jets. There's so many good players. James Robinson could have a bounce back year if he's on the right team in the right situation. But I left some of these guys out. Okay, so don't be offended if your player is not here. These are players that I think are the most talented and the most physical and the guys that can get it done and could be actual workhorse running backs on their respective teams and not need anybody else to carry them. Okay, guys? Let's count down from 10 all the way to 1. All right, starting off with number 10 here, the guy I've got is Alvin Kamara. Now, Alvin Kamara has proven it every single year, year in, year out, that he is the man. He's talented. He's agile. He can catch the ball pretty much better than anybody else in the NFL. Where he lacked is always the volume in regards to rushing, but made it up in the receiving. Now, we've seen a slight decline in regards to fantasy, but we're not so much focused on fantasy here. We've seen a decline. And here's the thing. Fantasy and reality are pretty much the same thing in regards to if they produce in real life, it's going to help them in reality points as well. So they run parallel, guys, with each other. So Alvin Kamara, again, a bit of a decline over the past couple of years. And the thing is with Drew Brees being gone, Drew Brees used to feed this guy all the time. And I asked myself, is Alvin Kamara past his prime? I mean, he's already had like 5 seasons in, going into the 6th season. He's still, 26 years old. He's still got a couple good years left in him. But again, a lot of his success is predicated on receptions. But when you're looking at talent and when you're looking at a strong guy, you're looking at durability, you're looking at the overall package, Alvin Kamara can lead the pack for you and be that workhorse guy. Mind you, again, it's nice to have a nice big back behind him to run it in. But in regards to a guy to get it done, talent, ability-wise, Alvin Kamara got him at number 10. Coming at number 9 here, this may shock people a little bit, but he finished 6th in fantasy points, and he did really well on the season. But the guy I'm talking about is Leonard Fournette. Now, he only had 180 attempts. If this guy was given the full workhorse volume and he stayed healthy, this guy could really, really absolutely crush it. Easily 1,000-yard rushing type of running back Leonard Fournette is. He finished 5 seasons. He's had 2 seasons over 1,000 rushing yards, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers spread the ball around. They have a bit of a committee there. But when Lenny gets the ball, he gets it done. I saw his talent and ability step up this past season with the Buccaneers, that connection with Brady. His targets were 84, 69 receptions on the season, 454 yards receiving and 2 receiving touchdowns. Combo that with the 8 rushing touchdowns. This guy, if given the volume, and he only had 180 attempts, is a guy that can absolutely be a workhorse. Predicated he is healthy. Now, this guy has lingering hamstring issues over the past couple years. And, injury has been a little bit of a concern for him throughout the years as he has only finished 0 seasons, right? He finished 14 games this past season, 13 the year before, 15 the year before that, 8 before that, and then 13. So he hasn't really ever finished a season. He always has something bothering him. But if he was, and then you're saying, well, Joe, how is he number 9? If, right? He hasn't. But because I really believe he's talented. He can get it done in the receiving, get it done in the running. He's versatile. He's strong. The work ethic is there. I think Leonard Fournette is a top back. And again, if he was healthy fully, top 3 back easily. But again, he's been lingering. He had these lingering issues. And it's still, again, even with those lingering issues, still finished 6th amongst running backs in fantasy points. Again, we're not talking fantasy, but again, kind of goes parallel. So Leonard Fournette, number 9, I think is a good player, really good player. Coming in number 8, now this may shock people here, but he really shocked me this past season. The guy I'm talking about is Cornelius Patterson, who came into the league, believe it or not, guys, as a wide receiver on the Minnesota Vikings. So listed as a wide receiver, came in and played the running back position extremely well for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, to have him number 9 ahead of guys like Joe Mixon sounds ludicrous, but what I saw in 2021 was phenomenal. I saw the versatility of Cornelius Patterson. He looked absolutely amazing. Now, 153 attempts for 618 yards doesn't sound amazing, but I saw the upside. I saw the talent. I saw the durability. I saw the versatility of Cornelius Patterson. 153 attempts, 618 yards, 6 touchdowns on the ground. He did have 5 receiving touchdowns, 52 receptions for 548 receiving yards. So he got it done in the receiving game. He was capable to get it done in the running game. I liked his mobility. I liked the way he moved on the field. And again, if he had more volume, this guy could easily be a top 3 running back in the game. So based on this Swiss Army knife type performance I saw out of him, and I was just really wowed. I'm like, Cornelius Patterson, wow. You know, he's just got that versatility. And the cool thing about it is that he could just run downfield and catch a ball like a receiver. And I don't think anybody can do it the way he does it. I mean, you could make an argument for guys like Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley could do stuff like that. Zeke Elliot has done it before, but obviously Zeke Elliot doesn't have the hands that he does. But again, Cornelius Patterson, a wide receiver, but also a running back. Love that Swiss Army knife type performance. So I got him in at number 8, okay? Coming at number 7, it's going to shock a lot of people, and I'm projecting forward into the future here. I've got Javonte Williams as number 7. Now, here's the deal. Let's talk about this. Now, you're like, well, Joe, he didn't do anything special. Finished 17th in fantasy amongst running backs. Again, this is not my fantasy football running back list, by the way, just to let you know. If I can get Javonte Williams for the right ADP this year, he's going to slip out of the top 10. He could finish top 5 in fantasy, by the way, just on a side note here. But I got Javonte Williams here as the 7th most talented running back. Now, he had the same amount of attempts as Melvin Gordon with 203. He was really, really hindered and limited with Melvin Gordon being there. And I totally feel that they should and probably will phase out Melvin Gordon going into 2022. So I look at Javonte Williams and I look at his 4.4 yards per carry, 4 rushing touchdowns. On 203 attempts, he had 903 rushing yards. Okay, let me repeat this, okay? Only 203 attempts. He had just under 1,000, 903 rushing yards, okay? If he had the 203 attempts that Melvin Gordon had, let's say even if he had 100 of more, of the Melvin Gordon. So let's say he finished off with 303 attempts, which was easily viable as the Broncos run the ball. They ran it 404 times just with those 2 running backs, okay? 406 times with those 2 running backs. This guy is, a minimum 1,200 yard a season rush. I would have said he would have got 1,500 yards. His touchdowns, what did Melvin Gordon steal? He hoarded away 8 touchdowns near the goal line. Javonte Williams would have easily ended off with 12 rushing touchdowns, and he gets it done in the receiving game. He had 3 receiving touchdowns for 316 yards. So this is the thing here, guys, with Javonte Williams. He's young. He's talented. The Broncos like to run the ball. There's a bright future ahead of him. The talent is there, and I just really feel that the upside is there. He was a round 2 pick out of North Carolina. He's 5'10", 220. He's got all the attributes to be a running back. A solid workhorse running back, that is. And again, he is young and durable. So I'm excited about him. I think, talent-wise, if given the volume, which I think should happen next year, he is one of the best running backs in the game. Call me crazy, but I'm projecting forward. Coming in number 6 here, and we've seen a decline from him in regards to rushing attempts, but I'm talking Zeke Elliot here. Obviously, the talent is there. And again, the regression has been happening as Pollard gets more volume, and Zeke has been declining steadily throughout the years in regards to attempts. Whereas in 2020, he had, 237 attempts, but you go back, let's go back into 2021, let's go back to 2019, 2021, he had 237 attempts. 2019, 301 attempts. 304 in 2018. This is a 300 attempt rushing kind of guy. He's a workhorse guy. But again, the decline has really, really hindered him. Still managed to get 1,000 yards on the ground, 4.2 yards per carry, 10 rushing touchdowns, but really hindered based on attempts. But when you talk about talent, you talk about overall playability, overall strength, overall durability. Zeke Elliot is arguably and still one of the best running backs in the game. Again, I'd like to see that volume go up. But as the way it sits, when you're looking at a physical specimen, you're looking at him physically and saying this guy mentally, physically, game-wise, veteran now in the league, he is one of the best running backs in the game. I got him slotted in here at number 6. Coming to number 5, you guys know I'm not a fan of him at all in fantasy football, so this is going to shock a lot of people. Number 5, talent-wise, I got Dalvin Cook. You cannot deny when this guy's on the field, he is explosive, he's fast, he's got phenomenal hands, and he's just a great player in regards to being a running back. The problem with him, hasn't finished a season his entire career, always has to deal with some sort of injury, just cannot finish a season. And I know durability plays a factor when I'm factoring in these running backs, but I just had to put him in here because he's just so talented. And when he is healthy, I just couldn't deny that talent. Now, for fantasy, I'm not drafting him, have never drafted him, and I don't care. People drafted him in the first round last year. He finished 16th amongst running backs in PPR. Big time bust based on average draft position. So I avoided that bullet, right? I had Najee Harris ranked ahead of him. Najee Harris finished ahead of him. So Dalvin Cook, again, talent-wise, when he's on the field, when he's playing, reality-wise, I mean, there's really nobody better. Explosiveness, elusiveness, speed, hands, quickness. I mean, the cutting ability, second to none. Dalvin Cook, number 5. Coming at number 4, I'm not a fan of him, again, in regards to fantasy. And I don't like players that put modeling ahead of football. Where you're saying, well, Joe, he didn't put modeling ahead of football. But he's out there modeling, and that time could have been spent working on his injuries and staying healthy. And ever since that modeling shoot, he's played, 10 games in the past 2 seasons, 3 games in 2020, 7 games in 2021. Just not a guy that can get it done durability-wise. But when you're talking talent, when you're looking at his 2017, 2018, 2019 years, he is really hard to top when you look at talent, ability. Again, really good hands, really good, strong running back, all-around, all-purpose running back that can and will be a strong workhorse for your team. It's very hard to doubt Christian McCaffrey is one of the best in the game, and it's hard to deny his ability to be the best. He is one of the best in the game, and it's hard to deny that, okay? That's number 4. Coming at number 3, this is a guy everybody slept on last year. I said the talent is there. The work ethic is second to none. This guy does not leave the field after practice is done. He wants to stay. He's hungry. Humble beginnings. Najee Harris coming at number 3. Arguably one of the best running backs in the game. Amazing hands. He didn't lose a fumble pretty much all season until playoffs. Like literally, this guy is one of them. I'm just taking a look at 0 fumbles on the season on 307 rushing attempts, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. Let me repeat that, okay? 307 rushing attempts, 0 fumbles on the season, and he did have that 1 fumble in the playoff game there, okay, with the one they lost. Not because of him, but he just had a fumble. So Najee Harris, yes, he's young, but when you look at a guy based on opportunity, a guy that's going to continue to thrive, and it's going to be interesting to see what quarterback comes in on the Steelers. At the time of this recording, we don't know if, Big Ben should be out, who's coming in. There's rumors about Aaron Rodgers. That would be really ideal. I'd love Aaron Rodgers there with the Steelers. But Najee Harris, arguably, I won't even argue it. He is the best running back in the game, top 3 anyway. Coming at number 2, this is tough. This is really tough between 2 amazing players. But I got Derrick Henry at number 2. And you guys know who number 1 is, I'm sure. But Derrick Henry, I mean, he had one bad year here where he got hurt. Foot bothered him. He got back into the playoffs. The thing is, Derrick Henry, I mean, I don't even need to go over this. Strong, durable. Yes, he lacks a little bit in the receiving game. What he lacks in the receiving game makes up in rushing touchdowns and rushing yards. I mean, there's really nobody stronger than Derrick Henry. So Derrick Henry is just an absolute beast, and his volume is always going to be there. 8 games, he had 219 attempts, 937 yards. Let me repeat this. In 8 games, he had 937 yards. Let me put this in perspective for you guys, okay? 937 yards in 8 games. Damian Harris played 15 games, had 929 yards. Alvin Kamara had 898 yards rushing. We're talking rushing, 13 games. Josh Jacobs, 15 games, 872 yards. David Montgomery, 13 games, 849. Leonard Fournette, 812, guys. 812 rushing yards on 14 games. So a lot of running backs played way more games and just couldn't even match the rushing yards that Derrick Henry had in only 8 games. He was 9th in rushing yards amongst running backs in 8 games. And I cannot express this enough. how much this guy can get done when he's on the field. 10 touchdowns, guys. 10 touchdowns in 8 games, which put him 6th in rushing touchdowns amongst running backs, right and tied with Zeke Elliot, who played 17 games. So that's the upside. That's how good Derrick Henry really is, okay? So he's top 10 in many categories in regards to, attempts and rushing touchdowns and yards, and he played 8 games. So, I mean, again, I don't need to elaborate, but I had to put in some stats there for you. Derrick Henry is absolutely phenomenal. Got him at number 2. Coming at number 1 here, now obviously a decline is potentially coming this year, but Jonathan Taylor. I mean, you got to look at the youth here. You got to look at the upside. I mean, he's 5'11", 219, prototypical, 2 seasons in. He was a second-round pick out of Wisconsin. The guy is talented. I mean, I'm not even going to go into this too much, but 1,800 yards. Come on, man. 18 touchdowns. Breakaway speed's awesome. He's hard to catch. He's not the fastest, running back in the NFL, I don't think, anyway. But, breakaway speed, durability, receptions, 40 receptions on 51 targets, 360 yards receiving. He gets it done. He's an all-purpose back. And if there's one running back I would want on my roster who I think has a little more nimbleness, well, he does, than Derrick Henry, is Jonathan Taylor. I mean, period. This is a guy I was really high on when he came in as a rookie. Didn't produce on the fantasy level I wanted him in season 1 because he was hindered by a committee there. But I loved it. Saw the talent there. Jonathan Taylor is an absolute stud and the best running back in the NFL the way that it sits right now. Let me know, guys, in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Am I crazy? What do you guys think? Love to get your feedback. Who is the best running back in the NFL today? Comment below. Love to get your feedback. That's my list. Alvin Kamara, Leonard Fournette, Cornelius Patterson, Javonte Williams, Zeke Elliot, Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, and Jonathan Taylor. That's my list. Love to hear your comments. Who are the best running backs in the game? Comment below. And if you're new, subscribe. Leave a thumbs up. I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. We're diving into running backs, talking football, talking fantasy football here in the offseason to get you guys through. That's why I got to subscribe, because we go year round.